Good afternoon and welcome to the first Lunch and Learn of the new year. I hope everyone is staying warm and safe so far this year. Our first Lunch and Learn of this year is about transition age youth. So youth and young adults that are coming into adulthood and how they're going to be able to handle some of that stuff coming up. We're going to talk about some tips to kind of help youth and young adults get ready for adulting. We're also going to talk about some ways to find support. So just as much as we're going to talk about for youth to find their tribe and their people and where they can find support, we're going to go over where adults can find support. So if you've been with Virginia Family Network for a while, it's a little bit of review and before we get into the good stuff. And if you are new to Virginia Family Network, you get to know more about what we do and what we provide on the parent side, and then also on the youth and young adult side. This month, I am joined by Gina Mayo. She is on the Youth Advisory Board. She also happens to be my daughter. So a little bit about this transition stuff, we've been through it, we're going through it. So hopefully we can provide you some really great tips to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. So there we go. Okay. So a little bit about me. My name is Nicole Angel. I am the program assistant for Virginia Family Network. This is my family. Gina is actually the reason I got started doing what I'm doing. Before I was in this role, I was a family support partner at UMFS. So it's become a real passion of mine to kind of help parents through some of this stuff and share my story and let them know that you're not alone and there is a community of us here. So I'll let Gina introduce herself.
Hi, I am Gina. I am 19 years old and I go to Virginia State University to go hopefully get my master's in social work. I have been helping and then starting Carmi's move for 3-ish years now, more or less. But I had done budget hearing, I got to speak on that, and that was a really great experience for me to learn how to advocate and do talks and social events. I have actually got to go to a Styx concert and got to be up on stage and have them talk about mental health and help rap off the guitar. I am on the Youth Move Advisory Board and I am part of that and I help out doing that. I have done summit and done like a panel. I've done a panel on it. So I've just done a lot with Nami and it's one of many reasons why I am pursuing the career that I am. And it helps me do everything that I am.
All right. So our mission at Nami, Virginia, is to promote recovery and improve the quality of life of Virginians with serious mental illness and their families through support, education, and advocacy. And we do this by offering programs, educational programs, so you can learn more about mental illness, ways to help, that kind of thing. We offer support groups and they run the complete spectrum of things that you would want to know. There are support groups for parents of children under the age of 17. There are support groups for youth and young adults. There are support groups for if your child is over the age of 18. There are groups for individuals who are dealing with their own mental illness. So you definitely find the people who are most related to what you're going through. So you really don't, you never feel alone. It's the big thing when you join Nami is there's this new community to surround you and help you through everything. So Virginia Family Network is a contractual agreement between the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services in Nami, Virginia. We were launched in 2011, and the purpose was to create a statewide network for families to support and empower and each other. So, you know, when our kids are going through stuff and you don't know who to turn to, at least you can find someone who's kind of been through it. Sometimes it's hard if you're reaching out to other friends or family and they're like, they just don't know what you're going through. So this way, at least someone's been like, I've been there, you're right. It's tough. And this is how my family was able to kind of work that situation. And, you know, maybe it will help with you. So we put a lot of effort into creating connections and kind of a community of people. And on the Youth Move Virginia side, they kind of do the same thing for youth and young adults. So they don't have to worry about adults being around or judging them or giving them, well, you should do this, you should do that. It is kind of like friends hanging out, and they can have that same conversation of, this is how I got through that really tough period between, you know, high school and college, and how that was hard and how I overcame, or this is how I got through this really hard time of my life and things didn't look great. So we work a lot on connection and building a family of togetherness. So some of the programs for parents that Virginia Family Network offers is Nami Basics. It is now an on-demand self-guided course. It is more advanced focus on the tools and tips for parents and caregivers of youth. Children's Challenging Behavior is a really good introductory course. It's a 6-hour workshop for parents, again, of youth and young adults. This workshop has now been modified to be online, so you can take it as an online option. We know that sitting for 6 hours on Zoom isn't always easy for everyone. It's not practical. So we've broken it up into 3 different days. So it's a little bit each day. You get to know a lot of the basic of what's typical behavior and what's not. And now that the world is opening up a little bit more, they're slowly starting to do them in person again, as being as careful and following guidelines to make sure everyone is safe. We also offer advanced parent leadership training. So this is an intensive, it's now a 3-day training, because again, we do it online and we're not trying to have you sit on Zoom for 2 full days. And we focus on the skills and competencies of being a parent leader in your local community. So if you've kind of gone through it and you're like, no one else should have to struggle the way I did, and I want my community to know there's help, advanced parent leadership training is a great next step to become a great leader and advocate. We actually have a training coming up in February. So if anyone is interested in that, you can absolutely email me or even put a message in the chat below, and I will reach out so we can get you signed up and I can give you more information about that. And then since COVID has happened, VFN has found new ways to continue to offer connection and support for the parents of Virginia. So once a month, we hold a coffee chat. Really quick, 15, 20 minutes, check in for parents and caregivers just to kind of check in with each other. How's it going? How have you been? It's a great way, especially once you've been with VF in a while, you kind of feel like now these are my friends, this is my family. So get to check in with each other and see how everyone's doing all across the state. Again, we have the family support groups. So they are the 90-minute confidential groups. So you can kind of meet with other parents, get some tips of how to handle different situations, and lunch and learns like this, where once a month we have presentations on all sorts of topics. So if there's something specific that you are kind of wanting to learn more about, you can reach out to us and we will see what we can do about, pulling either another parent or professional in to kind of cover that topic for you. Again, everything that we offer is absolutely free. We try to make it as easy to attend as possible. So again, anyone across the state can kind of come and get the support and the connection that they need to help themselves and their families.
So Youth Move, Virginia Family Network is a contractual agreement between the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services in Nami, Virginia for youth and adults. It was developed in 2014. Youth Move, moving others through voices of experience, is a platform for young people to share their story and inspire others. Youth Move is Virginia's statewide youth network and voices for young people with experience, not only in the mental health system, but also experience in the child welfare, educational, juvenile justice system. This also includes foster care and substance use or recovery services. Youth Move is open for youth and young adults ages 13 to 30. The Youth Move has the resiliency workshop, and it is designed for youth and young adults by other youth and young adults. What resilience is, how to identify in yourself, how to support others, and real life resiliency skills. This training was developed to help young people learn more about themselves and their past experiences, and how can they become an effective leader. We also do the Advanced Youth Leadership Training. This is for youth and young adults ages 13 to 29 who want to become a leader in their community. This training is led by 2 young adults with lived experiences and is ideal for young people who would like to use their lived experience to help others. This can be by running support groups, speaking to legislators, or being a personal advocate. For more information on these trainings and many others that we can and things that we offer, you can go to the Youth Move website and Nami, Virginia. Youth Move have support groups too. They are online and in person where available. This is an activity-based and discussion-based group. Right now, these are not being currently held, but to stay up to date on this group and many more, you can go on the Nami website, or you can follow our Facebook, Instagram, or subscribe to our e-newsletter. Nami Youth Move also does college on campus, or Nami on campus. What works to end the stigma that makes it hard for students to talk about mental health. And they get the help that they need. Nami National provides resources for events and clubs. Clubs and activities. Clubs have the freedom to decide what events will be the best for their college and how often they want to meet. Nami on campus may not be found on all Virginia campuses and universities. If a student wants to start their own, they can contact Nami Virginia, and Nami National Nami Virginia is here, will help them out. We also have Nami into Silence. One is an in-school presentation about mental health designed for high school students. This is when one adult and one youth present together.
All right, thank you. So, transitioning into adulthood and what that means. So when we talk about transitioning into adulthood, it's usually youth and young adults between the ages of 16 to 24. Sometimes it starts a little earlier, especially for kids that have IEPs. High school will kind of start that conversation when they're a little younger to help them kind of get on the right path and decide what they want to do with their lives and what their future might look like and how they can assist them in getting in the right direction. But it's when our youth are starting to face new challenges and have new experiences. And as parents, we're not always there to walk them through these. But we definitely want to set our kids up for the best that they can be. So kind of helping them manage and get through some of these circumstances the best that we can. So tips for transitioning into adulthood. So again, like I was saying, if your kiddo has an IEP, usually that team starts meeting and then they start asking that the youth be part of these meetings. So they can really start saying, you know, these are the skills that I need help with, or these are the skills that I've mastered. This is where I would need more assistance. They talk about what are your future plans? What do you want to be when you grow up? What kind of school do you want to go to? I know, you know, when we started talking with the school and with Gina, well, we were all in these meetings. It was, how can we help you get where you want to go? And though she's not in the same path she was then, they at least got her set up and started for what she thought she wanted. Kind of gave her a taste of what that was going to look like. And then I think the more she was doing stuff with Youth Move and the more that she was seeing like helping her own peers, her ideas started shifting a little bit of what she wanted to do. And here we are today. But at least high school was very helpful with the, how can we get you started somewhere? And maybe that helped her kind of decide what path she wanted to take too. Like, yeah, I thought that's what I wanted. Wasn't what I thought it was. So this is definitely more of what I think I want. So as they're going through these IEP meetings, or even if your kiddo doesn't have an IEP, some good things to help your child start working on is some advocacy skills, kind of a sense of their own strengths. So they know kind of what they want to do, what they're good at. Sometimes in this transition period, they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm good at. So it's a really good conversation. Like, what do you like to do? You know, What do you want to do when you're not in school? How do you want to make money when you get a little older? Um, it also helps when they are in college or going to their job or wherever they're going after school to be like, this is what I need to be successful, especially for first jobs. That's a big step and it's a little scary and you don't know, like, should I tell my boss that this is too many hours? Should I tell my boss that I'm not comfortable doing this part of the job? Like, can I go back to doing this because I'm more comfortable? So really helping them with those advocacy skills. So we talked a little bit about where youth could find support because Youth Move is here to help. But some other great ways to find supports and find their own network of people. So there's definitely community supports, kind of who your family knows other than just your direct family. Kind of out in the community, you have other friends, other families that you do a lot with, and that could be a place of support. Growing up, Gina wasn't always able to tell me things, but there's other people that she felt very comfortable talking to, and that's okay as long as she gets those feelings out or gets whatever that situation is figured out. So there's friends of the family and she's very comfortable with them and she's like, okay, this is what's going on, how do I handle it? They handled it. So more than just mom or dad, sometimes there needs to be a little more support. It definitely takes a village. So it's good that our youth and young adults kind of know who that village is.
I know for me, it was friends and family who were all close to, or my cousins. My cousins were a big part. I know I can only get to my cousins and talk, but because I know that support from.
So as a family support partner, when I was working with families, one of the things we used to do was kind of make them think outside of the box of who their supports are, natural supports, community supports, what have you. So we used to have this, we made it into like a game of who would you call? The rules of my game is it can't be someone you live with. So typically that's mom and dad. There was a family that I was working with where it was mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brothers, sisters, like it was a very large family. So who would you call outside of your house? And then we would come up with, if good things happen and if bad things happen. So who would you call if you got a new job? And, they would think of someone really, but I would tell my mom, like, you're absolutely right, you would. But if your mom's at work, you just gotta tell someone, who are you telling? And it would be, oh, I have this friend and I tell her everything. And I'm like, yep, got one of those too. So, she's like, that's my first call. And then I'm like, okay, so who would you call if you got a flat tire? And it was, but my grandpa's the car guy. Yeah, but who would you call if your grandpa was not able to make it to you? Whatever reason, he's already out doing something. Oh, no, I know my brother's friend and he's really good with cars. So I'm like, see, so you have other people. So it's a good way to help get them thinking outside of the box of who would you call? So the other thing that's really good for youth and young adults to learn are soft skills. So these are employment skills that aren't like, when you want to become a nurse, you need the skills of being a nurse. If you want to become a mechanic, you need to know how to work on an engine. Soft skills are, can you work together with other people? Time management. If you know you have a 30-minute break, can you come back on time? Communication skills. Are you able to say what you need? So those are always really good things to work on. Schools work on them, especially if your school district has like a tech center or some kind of training program that they are able to send high school students to. And then just kind of when you're out in the community, having your child see what it's like to be a cashier and handle these kind of things, doing those kind of soft skills. If your child plays a sport and they kind of take a leadership position on their team, like, okay, that can transfer over to when you're working with other people, because you know how to work together, get a job done. Sometimes doing a job 2-3 people is a lot faster than doing it by yourself, but you got to be able to do the work and not chit chat the whole time. And so I know Gina has gone to like a tech center when she was in high school, and they were kind of working on some of these soft skills, like, we're going to put you in some job training stuff, and this is where you're going to work as being a team player and, you know, time management. We need to leave at this time. We need to go back at this time. You need to be on the bus or you're getting left. So along with soft skills, youth and young adults can start thinking about a resume. Some have never thought about putting a resume together, and what would they even put on a resume, especially if you haven't had a job yet. So some of this is, what kind of volunteer work have you done? Also, if you've ever babysat for anyone, did you ever have a paper route? Have you cut your neighbor's yard? All those kind of things are job skills. So that's where you kind of start putting on at least skills. You don't have to put that you've had a job, but you at least have skills. So you can start somewhere. If your youth is ever looking for volunteer opportunities, Youth Move usually has something that they always need help with. There's always something coming up that we can have youth and young adults kind of help us with, put together. Sitting on the advisory board is a great volunteer time. It also has that teamwork skills. They give you leadership skills, as Gina was saying, with some of the trainings. So these are great resume skills to put to at least show that you are able to start doing the work. Another way to help your youth is to start talking to them about money management and what that means. Starting a bank account, starting a savings account, how to start saving. Sometimes it's also having a conversation when you're out with your youth and they're kind of shopping for things that they might not necessarily need. Just let them know, do you really need that? If it's buying, oh, I'm going to buy milk and I'm going to buy this for lunch and this for dinner, but we have food at home and I already buy groceries. Do you need to spend your money on groceries? So just helping them think these things through. You can also work with your youth about building a budget. Another thing that we used to do as a family support partner was work with the youth who were always ready for, like, I can't wait till I'm 18 and I'm going to move out. And the day I turn 18, I'm moving out. I'm like, okay, cool. Have you taken a look at how much rent might be? So we'd sit down and be like, okay, rent's this much. And then you have to pay an electric bill every month. And you still want your phone to work, right? So there's a phone bill every month. And You'll need internet because nothing works without Wi-Fi anymore. So then they start seeing stuff add up. And they're like, oh, maybe I should stay here, work, and save some money first. I'm like, that is an awesome idea. So helping them see how much stuff is going to cost. So it really helps to see it out. I am definitely that kind of person that has to see it on paper. So you can kind of tell me everything, but until I see it, be like, oh, that's a lot more than I was thinking. So transition can be stressful, but it's normal. It's a very stressful time. Things are kind of changing. We also understand how this change is going to impact mental health. So it's kind of being aware of what's coming on and knowing that you guys are going to have a lot of stress coming up and things are changing, and just, be aware of trying to figure out how or what might help you through this time. And kind of planning for the future definitely helps take away some of that stress, because even if they're not using it today, a couple of years from now, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we talked about a budget. Oh yeah, we talked about, the skills that I would need at a job. Or advocacy is a great way to kind of not have so much stress, because you are confident to tell your boss, I need a day off. I'm between school and work and I just can't right now. So being able to speak up and say what you need. So some signs of stress in children: mood swings, acting out, changes in sleep pattern. Are they sleeping all the time? Are they never sleeping? Do they just seem to be up? Are they having physical problems? Lots of headaches, lots of stomach aches, just general, I just don't feel good. Are they no longer spending time with friends, with family? Are they starting to bully other people if they're still in high school? Are they being bullied now? It goes both ways. So there's some other ways that you can definitely notice if your child is stressed out. And then ways to reduce stress is reminding your child about, tomorrow's a big day, tomorrow you have school, whatever's going on, get some sleep, get some rest. Reminding them, have you eaten today? Stress may take away, like you no longer feel hungry because you're so stressed. So have you eaten today? Or I've seen you eating a lot of cookies and chips, and have you had an actual meal today? Make time for your kids, kind of help them talk things out. And then preparing them for stressful situations. If you know something's coming up and we're going to have a really busy weekend, you have work, and then this is going on, and I have this. And so just so they know, okay, this is going to be tough, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Really good ways to help your youth and young adults kind of reduce their stress. But a lot of these also help us as parents reduce our own stress. So Gina's going to tell you a little bit about her transition time, although she's kind of still in the midst of it.
Yeah. So high school and working is different than college and working. And I realized that in my first semester of college, but I still realized it very quickly, like college comes with a lot more work and a lot more responsibilities. And you realize that when you start paying for your own college. But one thing I do to make sure that I'm under control and I'm not worrying about schoolwork, Monday through Friday, I have to get my work done before the weekend. So then I work the weekend and then I have one day off. But it just helps me to know that, all right, Sunday's my day off. No school, no work, no nothing. I can do what I want. I can pick up my room without worrying about, oh my God, this has to be turned in at this time or that had to be turned on this time. it just makes things 10 times easier. Also communicating about what I need. Telling my boss, I need to cut back. School is coming back in session. I'm not there. All I'm gonna do is just stress about school if I need to cut some time back. I've also learned that taking a break and going to talk to a friend, if it's just like texting a friend, hey, how are you? And we talk for 5-10 minutes that day. But having a little bit of communication, a little bit of a break from school and worrying about everything. Just talking to someone helps. I like to hang out with my animals. It's one of my de-stressors. If you couldn't tell, I have some right now, but just seeing things that I like or doing things that I like. So like me, it's hanging out with my animals, going to my farm. Just getting outside helps. But it's one of those ways that I know I can take an hour. If I go to the farm, I can take an hour and just go hang out with my animals and get outside. It's like a 2-in-1 there. I'm going outside, I'm getting some vitamin D, and I'm seeing my animals. It's a 2-in-1. But just doing things that I like. And having a little thing I sprout that week. Just I know like, oh great, Monday or Friday I get to go to my farm. And Sunday I'm off. So just like know that I have things coming up. So I'm not always like worrying about school. But also having really good communication between work and even at home. Just having that communication of I need a solid 3 hours. I have a test, I have a 3-hour time limit. I need at max 3 hours to get this thing done. Then you can talk. So like for my little brother, I'm like, Zane, I love you. I need a couple hours to get the test done, and then you can tell me about this game. It's just a lot of good communication skills.
So there are some resources. And if you want these as actual links, just let me know. I would gladly send them to you. There's definitely stuff about understanding stress, and there is all sorts of other resources that Nami, Virginia has. Some grounding activities. VCU has transition innovation, which looks really cool. We haven't personally used it, but it's kind of a workshop for youth and young adults about what transitioning would look like. There's a college readiness workshop that they have. So that's a really great place for youth to find some skills and some help. Form Families Forward. We do a lot with them. They are great and helpful partners of ours. They have a transition plan. So you can see it all out there in writing. And it goes through kind of each step of the tips that I've also given. But then it also helps you talk to your youth about what are your strengths and what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Kind of helping with that. So it's all out there in writing so they can keep looking back at it. And then there's some grounding activities, which are really great for when you're in the moment and you can feel yourself getting stressed and overwhelmed, and just taking a couple of minutes to do some breathing activities or some other activities to kind of like get yourself back in the moment so you're not overstressed, and then coming up with a plan of what needs to be done. Like Gina said, I know I need 3 hours to do this, and then I can take a break. Or I know I have a long study session coming up because there's a big test coming up. How can I get myself through that so I don't get stressed about not knowing the information, or so focused on it that I forget to do anything else, including just giving myself and my brain a 5-minute break. So lots of activities to help with that kind of stuff. If you have any other questions for myself, for Gina, please put them in the comments below. We would gladly be able to answer anything for you. And as always, Nami Virginia and Virginia Family Network and Virginia Youth Move, we are always here to help any way we can.